Good evening, Monday Morning Quarterback, episode 44, and it's been 34 days since we've been live. So, man, the time has flown by. It doesn't seem like it's been near that long, but it has been. We've been really busy in that time. What have we been up to? We've spent about half that time in Tulsa, Oklahoma, between the shootout and the Chili Bowl. Chili Bowl didn't go as well as we would have liked, but the shootout exceeded our expectation. We won 4 of the 6 micro classes there, making it 10 of the last 12 Golden Drillers were on CSI Shocks in the micro division, so that's awesome. We're really proud of that. We worked extremely hard in that market for a number of years. Man, we went to that race for quite a while, beating our head against the wall, trying to break through and get working with the right people and get our product where it needed to be. And so it's really gratifying to see where we're at today. And Chili Bowl is a little bit of a struggle for us. Some of our higher end teams that run our product had rough weeks, bad luck, crashes, and things just didn't fall the way we wanted. So we're going to have to get to work there and make sure we have a better showing next year. But that's kind of the way it goes sometimes. You know, can't win them all, but we certainly try our best to put our customers in the best position possible to succeed. And when we go to an event and don't have the success that we feel we should, we definitely don't take that lightly. So aside from that, we've had a few new updates on the Pit Logic app. 1.70 is available now if you haven't already updated to that. I have my Google Play preferences set to automatically update. So got some new things available there, and we really appreciate all the feedback that you guys have given. That's helped me and Kevin refine the product and continue to build that platform. So certainly appreciate the feedback, and if you have any, let us know, because we're trying to make that app as useful as possible for you guys. Also, some exciting news. Kevin shared with me a little sneak peek video of the iOS version for Apple devices, so he's been busting his butt on that, trying to get it ready. Still a fair bit of work to do, but we're hoping to have it all done before race season starts here in Indiana, so we'll keep you posted as we have more information on that. Coming up for us, I'm going to try my best to make it to Columbus Indoors this week. Haven't got over there yet this season with the way all the other races have fallen. And then 2 weeks we leave for Daytona for the USAC quarter midget stuff. And then we're going to go from there to Ocala for the USAC sprint car season opener to try to get all of our customers off on the right foot. So we're going to go through, I actually had planned to do a different show, and then I got so many questions while at the shootout, and then again at the Chili Bowl actually, about what should we be doing in the off season to make sure that our suspension package is ready for the upcoming season. And so I figured that was going to be the best thing to cover, since we got so many questions about that. And then next week we'll go into a video that I'd recorded a while back. So number one, if you haven't reached that 20 to 25 race threshold, it's a good idea to have your shocks dynoed. So that'll identify anything that maybe happened since your last rebuild, and you hate to go into the season with something that's not totally ready. So maybe there's somebody local that can do it. If not, definitely worth the freight to send it to us, as we dyno all of our customer shocks free. Some of our competitors ask us, why do you do that? It's costing you money, and yeah, it costs us money to have a guy unpackage the shocks and check them in and write a work order, and then us dyno it and package it to ship it back out. But plain and simple for me is I want to make sure our products are performing at their peak and putting our customers in the best position possible to succeed. So it's something we've always done, is dyno customer shocks for free. So if nobody locally can do it for you, we would be more than happy to do that. Any questions so far from anybody. Cody, yeah, I apologize. I'm not sure what event you were at, but we were really busy at both events. So, Steve Osborne, I assume you're asking of the change on the Pit Logic app, and that was fixed a couple bugs. Also made it easier to identify when you're manually entering your shocks, the proper steps there. Those were the major changes there from 168 to 170. So we'll jump into what I had planned to talk about, and that is how you take care of these babies. I just grabbed a monotube shock. Everything we're going to talk about will be the exact same for a twin tube, minus the Schrader valve maintenance that we'll talk about. But the first thing I would check is your monoball, which there's 2 of them on the shock, and you're going to want to make sure there's not too much side-to-side play, or that they're not bound up. So either can be problematic for you. If they're not feeling good, sometimes you can get one that's bound up, freed up with some penetrating oil. But if it's taken a hit and it's not going to be right, you can take that clip out, and if you have a socket and a press, a little arbor press or pneumatic press, you can press that monoball out and purchase a replacement from us. Pretty simple to do, but I would definitely make sure both ends that monoball is free, and then it also doesn't have excessive play there, because that's not something we'd want. On the Schrader valve, for the monotube guys, I would definitely inspect that Schrader valve housing. Sometimes if they get hit by a rock, they can bend slightly, causing nitrogen to leak out. So I would just make sure that's all good. 9mm wrench, make sure that's still tight, and then also valve core tool, make sure the Schrader valve insert is still tight. Usually you don't have any issues there, but while you have it off, you should check all these things. And everything we're kind of going through is only going to take you a couple minutes of shock, so something you should do. On the other end, for guys with adjustable shocks, you're going to want to make sure that adjuster spins in and out freely, that you can still feel the detents and everything's good there. If it's not, refer back to Monday Morning Quarterback episode 37, where we detail how to rebuild your rod end. If there's any play in your adjuster here, you can grab it with a 7/16 wrench, hold it, and then with a 7/64 Allen, tighten it. A touch of blue Loctite isn't a bad idea if that's came loose for you, but that you want to make sure that's tight, especially with some series going back to cockpit adjustable. If that's moving around, your adjustments aren't going to be 100% accurate. While you're at this end of the shock, I would run my hands up and down and really feel to make sure there's no nicks or burrs in the shaft, typically caused from a rock, but sometimes if you knocked a front end out and the axle got into it. If there is a high spot there, often you can get rid of it with a jeweler's file and then some fine sandpaper, because what's going to happen is that shaft goes in where that nick is, it's going to tear the seal. If it's too deep, you'll have to replace the shaft, but sometimes you can get a little nick out and be okay. And then I would also just give it a spin, compressing the shock as I spin it to make sure that we don't have a bent shaft. Especially coil front cars, it's easy to bend the shaft and not even realize it just with a slight bend there. So that's kind of the things you're going to want to check on the shaft. We'll also want to check our main shaft seal to make sure we don't have a puddle of oil there and we're not leaking. The shock can basically leak from a couple places, that main shaft seal, through the rod end if it gets by the seal on the shaft, or on the other end where the body cap attaches to the body, and it would be the same thing on a twin tube. So just make sure everything's dry and you don't have any leaking seals. Definitely recommend to keep your shocks in a climate controlled environment so they're not out in the trailer in the freezing cold. Something above 40 degrees or so is a good idea. to make sure on your shock. So that kind of covers to make sure everything's good on your shock, and get them all cleaned up and ready to bolt back on your car as you're going through that. Torsion bars, I would definitely take torsion bars out of your car, spin them, make sure they're still true, make sure the splines look okay and there's nothing going funny there. 20 to 25 nights it should be the expectancy on a torsion bar before you need to freshen those up. And I always like to start the season with fresh torsion bar bushings to make sure we don't have excessive slop there. So knock those bushings out, put some new ones in, get them reamed and everything operating smoothly there. If you run a coil front car or a 4-coil car like in a quarter midget application, make sure your springs are still square. You don't have a bent spring from a crash or anything like that. You can get your springs rated if you choose. In my experience, the spring rate doesn't change much. If you're using a hypercoil or Eibach or any other real high-end spring, your spring should be fine. Kind of the last thing on that, we also got a lot of questions on traveling to the track. So as you're getting ready to start the season, excuse me, I would recommend a block of wood under the car when you tie it down in the trailer. Not as much for the shocks as for the torsion bars. So you're going to put those torsion bars through a heck of a workout traveling to the racetrack, and so good idea to put a block of wood under there just to minimize the bouncing going up and down the highway. So that kind of covers that, making sure all your stuff is prepared and ready for the upcoming season. I'll kind of scroll through here and see if we have any more questions. Rick, bump stop gap set with or without the driver. I like to set my bump rubber gap with the driver in the car as it's ready to go on the track. So with the stagger you're going to run, with the fuel load you're going to run, because as the night goes on and you end up putting bigger left rear tire on, that gap's going to change. As you put fuel in the car, that gap's going to change. So I always check it excuse me, with the driver in the car as it's going to roll on the racetrack. Cody, thank you. We appreciate that, and sorry we didn't get to touch base. Next time, grab me. I always try to make time to stop. Kevin, is a double adjustable right rear recommended for wingless? Really kind of preference, but we do have quite a few customers that run a double adjustable, our RSX2 shock on micro wing and non-wing applications. So definitely gives you a little bit more tuning. We've had guys be successful with single adjustable shocks. Really depends on the variety of tracks you're racing at. So if you're just racing at kind of one local track, we could probably build you a single adjustable that's going to do what you need to do. But if you're racing on a variety of track conditions and sizes and styles, man, excuse me, a double adjustable is something that would be advantageous for you and give you another tuning option. Bobby, what's the ideal shock cable maintenance? I don't remember what episode it was, maybe 43 or 42. We went over how to rebuild your shock adjuster cables and maintenance them. So definitely check out that Monday morning quarterback. It's posted here and then on our YouTube, but pretty simple how to take care of your shock adjusters and make sure all that's working good. Chris, where can you get one of these hats? This was a prototype that the people who make our hats sent me to see if I liked the fit of it, and I do, so we're going to order some. We actually sold out of most all of our hats at the shootouts. We didn't have many at the Chili Bowl. So today I ordered a variety of new hats, some new trucker hats with some different colors. Had a lot of requests for flat bills, so we got some flat bill snapbacks. So here in the next couple weeks we'll have a bunch of new hats on the website, and we're also going to have a new t-shirt and hoodie available because we sold most of what we brought to those events. So we certainly appreciate all your guys' support and everybody that wears our CSI gear and uses our shocks. So Harley, we dyno our customer shocks for free. So if you have a CSI shock, there's no charge to dyno it. If it's a competitor shock that you just want us to dyno, we will do that. It's $15 for an adjustable shock. So. Turnaround time on repair and dyno. Steve, for quarter midget stuff right now, we're like a week and a half, 2 weeks. During the season, we make it our promise that if you get us your shocks on Tuesday, we'll have them back to you by Friday. This time of year we're extremely busy with repairs and people getting stuff done for off season, and then Daytona starting here in 2 weeks. We're pretty slammed with that, but if you get in a pickle and need something quicker than that, just communicate with me. We always do our best to make sure everybody has their stuff to race. We don't want you to miss a race on our account. So, any other questions from anybody tuned in? We certainly appreciate everyone tuning in. Again, it's been a bit since we did this. We're going to be back doing them again every Monday. Next Monday we'll be back here. A couple Mondays from now I'll be traveling to Daytona, and then we'll be in Ocala for one of them. But we're going to keep doing them like we did last year. Once we started, we never missed one until we took our break for the holidays shootout Chili Bowl. So we did 43 straight, and we plan to go straight until the holidays again next year, barring anything crazy like our baby being born on a Monday or something, something like that. So, and in that case, we might get Jake or one of our other guys to host for us. If you had us work on them, Harley, the dyno is free. So, yep, send them in. We'll dyno them for you. All right. Certainly appreciate all you guys tuning in. Have some cool stuff to share with you here in the next few weeks. Like our page and share this to all your friends. That definitely helps us out and makes it worth not being at home right now with my little guy and being at work doing these videos for you. So we love all the feedback you've given us. So many of you came up to me at the shootout in Chili Bowl and thanked me for doing these videos, and that's certainly very appreciated, and your gratitude is the reason we're going to do another year of this and do them every Monday. And if there's something that you want to know about or want to see us do a show about, just speak up and we will definitely cover that topic. So hope you guys all have a fantastic week, and we look forward to seeing you next Monday. Take care.